Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today is VLOGOWEEN Day 8, and we picked a really great card today. It's going to be the Six of Cups. It's a very joyous card. It's full of memories and childhood and nostalgia. I've also heard this card be labeled with like kindness. It's beautiful implications. The Six of Cups focuses on the magic and innocence of childhood. The roots of years past are alight with color and vibrancy. Look back upon them. Get lost in your memories. Beautiful card. I'm a very nostalgic person, so I love to see it and I like to recall things in the past. But today we are going to be making blood spatter cookies. I have always wanted to try this recipe. I found it on Pinterest years ago, and I just thought VLOGOWEEN would be the greatest reason, I guess, to finally put that together. So I'm gonna walk you through the ingredients. Right now I'm just creaming some butter and sugar. You want about a cup of butter and about a cup of granulated sugar. They're just sugar cookies, so if you have a favorite sugar cookie recipe, definitely, you know, use your own favorite. I've been using this recipe for a really long time, so when I found the blood spatter cookies, I just swapped it with this recipe that is my favorite. You're gonna add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I wanted to try and find clear, but I couldn't at our commissary here, so it's just your regular old vanilla. That plays more in just a little bit when you're doing the icing. But then you're gonna add an egg, and you're gonna want 3 cups of flour after that. I didn't sift my flour or do anything special for these sugar cookies. You really can't over knead these, so there's no real science to this cookie, I guess. Just make sure you keep everything off the sides and everything is well mixed. Now I like my sugar cookie dough to be just a touch on the salty side, otherwise I feel like it may turn out a little soapy tasting. So do like a pinch, just a little pinch of salt in there, because you're also going to have salt in your icing here in just a minute, but also very little in that too, because you don't want a salty cookie, you just want it to be well balanced. So after the last cup of flour, you're going to add in your baking powder, and that's just going to be 2 teaspoons of the baking powder. And you want this to turn out to be like a Play-Doh consistency, so you're going to mix it up as well as you can, and then you're going to put your mixer on a really high, fast speed so that everything gets pretty well beaten together. You're still going to have to, you know, kind of knead it and play with it a little bit to get your forms out later. There goes the baking powder. And here we are speeding it up just to make sure it gets well mixed. And then you're going to want to lay out a flour surface. I don't have a whole lot of counter space, so I'm having to use my kitchen table here. But see how it comes out kind of like it's Play-Doh? Of course we're still going to form that together, because you want to do that before you try and put the rolling pin through it. It does also help to throw a little flour on your rolling pin, which I forgot to do. Or over the top of your sugar cookie dough, that also works. That's why it rolls up on me here, but I was just too lazy. We want this to turn out to be about 1/4 of an inch thick. Too much thicker and they would take a long time in the oven, and you don't want these to even remotely brown because they are a soft sugar cookie. I think this is a 3-inch biscuit or cookie cutter, and I just did as many as I comfortably could fit in this, and then of course you won't see it in the video, but I take all the scraps and continue cutting cookies out of them. I just filmed this first batch for the video. I always do a silicone liner on my pan. I think they always turn out the nicest. cleanest, and obviously cleanup is great too for them. These cookies will not shrink and they will not change in size. You don't have to chill them before you cut them. They retain their shapes really, really well, better than any other sugar cookie I've ever put together. Alright, and then we're going to bake these for 6 to 8 minutes, and I specifically did 7 today and they turned out great. Just make sure you keep an eye on them, because if they brown, they'll get more biscuit-like, like short crust biscuit-like. But we're going to move on to the icing now. This is just like a royal icing. You're going to want a pound of powdered sugar. And then I add in 1/4 of a cup of whole milk. You could also use almond or soy or coconut. That's fine too. And then I do a 1/4 cup of corn syrup. And I know this sounds terrible, but it really is the way to go. I've made royal icing only a few times, but I think the consistency just turns out better. Alright, then you're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract, and this is where the clear stuff really comes in handy because it doesn't mess with the color of your icing. See how this is a little more off-white instead of white. And then you'll want like between 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract. I like mine a little more almondy, so I typically do 1/2 teaspoon. You also want that one to be clear if you can, because the color again. And then I put a pinch of salt in mine, but I did not film doing that here either. And then we want to set some aside because some of it is going to be dyed red so that it looks like the blood spatters, and the other is just going to be this off-white color. Now I don't show it here, but you're going to want probably at least 10 or 15 little drops of food coloring to get that real red color, because pretty much everything else turns out just pink. I have added a little bit of blue in the past to kind of get it darker faster, but it really does turn out more purple than just a darker red. So these are really low maintenance cookies. I wanted them kind of messy looking. I did not pipe anything. I just spooned some stuff out and flattened them out on the cookie. That way I knew I wasn't getting too much either, because I don't like an overly sweet sugar cookie. And I already knew these were going to have a lot of icing. Alright, and now for the fun part. So this icing started out just a little too stiff to really splatter, so I added in some more milk. You can add more sugar to make your icing thicker, and you can add more milk to make it runnier, and this one splattered much, much better. But the best part about this is really that you can just have a bunch of fun slinging icing all over the place, and I think pretty much no matter what you do, they'll turn out great. After this, I just put them in some little packages and took them to my neighbors because I don't need to be eating a whole batch of cookies, and I would because they were soft and delicious and just a hint salty, and they came out exactly like I was hoping for. And I think your kids would have a blast doing this, but my neighbors also really love them because, you know, who shows up with blood spattered cookies? But I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Can't wait to see you tomorrow for VLOGOWEEN Day 9. Make sure you like and comment and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye guys!